There you go.
Okay. Perfect.
Awesome.
This is better. Full screen mode. Okay, take it away, Darla.
Awesome. Just as a disclaimer, this is just a condensed version of the video that I put in the Breathe Share Build group. And it really is worth the time to watch it all. I just knew that for this, it would probably be better for us to do slides and a few pieces of the video rather than the whole thing. So let's go to the second one. So why do I need to know my why? So our why motivates us and inspires us to action. It can help you move out of being stuck, and it keeps you on course. You know where you're going, and then you recognize when you get there. So let's go to the next slide. So how do I find my why? So this process is just a series of questions which allows us to move past our neocortex. And he explains this really quite thoroughly in the video. So the neocortex is the place that creates safety in our brains. It keeps us safe. It always wants us safe. It's this thinking part of our brain, and it's our conscious part of our brain. And then when we go through these series of questions, it moves from the thinking part into the limbic brain. And that's the part that makes our decisions. And that's where it houses our emotions, and that's on the unconscious level. We'll know we have gotten there because you might sense some emotion as you start writing. And that's a good thing. We want that. So let's go to the next slide. Again, he goes very thoroughly into all this area. So the preparation for doing this, it's really good to use a pen and a paper. It helps us to bypass that neocortex, or the thinking part of our brain, and then get into our unconscious desires and then bring them up to the surface. So that's why it's so important to use a pen and paper. Be completely honest. The more honest you are, the more your answers will touch you. And then 3, open mind and open heart. You're going to come to a part where you might feel like those roadblocks are just those walls are just sliding right up and around whatever the answer is, and that you just need to go through. Do your best. You might just need to have a little moment. I don't know if you know any inner child work, but you might have to just say, it's okay, I'm choosing this, and just tell your inner child, just like, it's okay. You know, I'm choosing to do this work. It's fine. We need this information, and just send them a little love. And then 4th, don't resist the emotions. The emotions show us when we are getting to the unconscious level and we're deep. We're right where we want to be. Okay. So let's go to slide 5. And this is where we get started in this whole process. So the first question we're going to ask is in this one, I've used this process actually for many different questions, and I've been playing with it to just see what's going to happen with it. So it's kind of fun to try, why am I doing something else, or any question you want.
I was wondering, have you done this with your weight loss coaching? Have you tried?
That's why I actually did these slides, because I'm just going to take these slides after I practice here, and I'm going to ship it, and I'm going to use it.
Perfect.
So, but I did it for myself on weight loss, and I did it with, I did it around relationships with my kids, because I've had some challenging areas with that lately. And so I just wanted some deep whys about that. And I've been avoiding my own self-care. And so I put, why am I avoiding my self-care?
Oh, wow.
And there was some really cool answers that came up because of that. So
that's really good. So
powerful question.
I know, I love that. So you're like showing us really that you can use this for absolutely anything in your life.
Anything in your life.
So
and it's powerful, motivating. So that's what we want. If there's something that you really want to do and you've been avoiding doing it, this might be a good process to go through, because then you can go from this conscious level to the unconscious level and figure out, okay, what's going on? I did it with one of my clients, and she actually found out that she is afraid to lose weight because she thinks if she loses all the weight, she will die.
That's me.
So that's counterintuitive. Like if you keep trying.
No, but there's the thing there. Like, that's so funny because that's me. Like, I totally feel like I've got to always have at least 20 pounds, like a safety net, because so if I get super sick, I have something to live off of so I don't die.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, sorry, Brandon. Did you see something I didn't hear?
No. I said, wow.
Oh, okay.
That is a very interesting thought process.
It is.
Weight loss confessions. Here we go.
There we go. So the question tonight, or use whatever question you want, why are you doing doTERRA as a business? And the writing prompt is because I. And let's go ahead and take a few minutes and just write down why.
This is already going to be very interesting because my answer's not what I thought it was going to be.
Awesome.
I already did this once, but I'm trying to be super open to like whether or not it's the same this time.
Are we ready to go?
Yep, there's Lorraine. Hi, Lorraine.
Hello.
Welcome. So we just finished our first question. So it's, why are you doing doTERRA as a business? And then the writing prompt is because I, and then you just let whatever's going to come, come. I can't see her, so I'm not sure if she's actually.
Yep, she grabbed pen and paper. She's all over it. Do you want me to go to the next slide, Darla?
No, not yet. I'm
okay.
Actually, while she's writing, I'm going to share this. So this piece is really cool. You know how they tell you to have a 1-minute elevator pitch to share your why with people? When somebody asks you at a class, well, why are you in doTERRA? This piece that you just wrote becomes your elevator pitch to share with them, the 1-minute piece. It's the most surface level answer, and it's the safest answer. And if you want to go to the next, they said it sounds wonderful. It's a fake why. Most companies and individuals stop here. It is not the real deal. So this is just, I thought that was interesting that they said that. So we get to go deeper. Okay, let's go to the next one. So now we're going to review our answer to step 1. And just, Lorraine, so you know, the questions and the prompts are going to all come along. So if you're a little bit behind, it's okay.
I'll be right back.
Sure. You review your answer to step 1. Why is that important to you? So the first answer you wrote, because I think.
I feel like we need like a prompt, like, everybody look up in the camera when you're done. Instead of at school where they're like, put your pencils down.
But you can't see that.
I know.
Raise your hands if you're done.
Yeah, I'll just
Yeah.
ask, is everybody ready to go? Okay.
Yeah.
So let me just share some information about this. This is the doorway to your why. Did any of you feel a little bit of emotion like when you started writing this section?
I keep being surprised by my answers today.
Awesome. Let's go to the next slide. So now we get to review our answer to steps 2 and ask, why is that important to you? And the prompt is, because I believe.
Are we supposed to be actually answering the question?
You're supposed to be journaling it, writing it down.
Yes. This is kind of an active participant type activity where we get to practice it and not wait until after it's all done and over to go say, well, that's really great information, and put it in the closet and never use it again.
Totally.
Because we never do that, do we?
I do it all the time. I've got a closet full of tips.
Because that's easy.
Yep, exactly. Oh, I'll do that later. And then you've got 20 other things to do and you don't get around to it.
Are we ready to go on?
Yeah.
Okay. So can you let me share my screen from my end, Melissa? Just for a minute.
Yeah, I think I can do stop share and then you can do it, I think.
Okay.
Do you have a screen share? If not, I can make you the host.
Yeah, I do. Just a
Okay.
minute. I'm trying to find. You're gonna see all my lovely stuff. Okay, so we're gonna listen to a little section of this video about next piece. Okay, so we just paused.
Now, before we get on to step 4, we need to talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Everything that you do is actually in pursuit of one of the needs outlined in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you haven't heard of this before, you can go check out Wikipedia. That's where this graphic came from. But this is the idea that we have certain basic physiological needs that once met, we will then start to care more about safety and all of the things that surround that, including shelter and other things. Once those needs are met, we begin to seek out other needs, and so on and so forth, all the way up to the tipping point of this structure, where we actually begin to seek self-actualization. We begin to look for our true purpose. Now, we're fortunate enough to live in a society where not a lot of us struggle with physiological needs. However, I have had the opportunity to work with people who are wondering where their next meal is going to come from. They're very motivated by those basic foundational needs, and that's okay. What you need to understand about your why and the process that we're in right now is that what you're about to write down here in step number 4 has to do with your core needs. A lot of people are resistant to writing these things down because they feel selfish. And especially the women that I work with, they're the most amazing people on the planet, yet they still suffer from a large measure of self-doubt because they feel like they're leaving somebody behind. If their why doesn't include their children, their spouse, their mother, their cousin, their neighbor, their friend, their dog, whatever it is. Now, you might be laughing about that, but these are real things that hold most people back. They begin to worry that their why doesn't have to do with anybody else. The truth is, if you're not true to your why, you will never be equipped to help other people realize theirs. I'm going to say that one more time. If you're not clear on your why and what it means to you, if you don't put the oxygen mask on your face first, you could pass out in the process of trying to help other people put their masks on. Does that make sense? With that in mind, I think we're ready to move forward. I'm going to ask you one more question. When you were working in number 3, did you start to feel some twinges of emotion? Did you start to feel little pricks maybe on your heart? Some of you might have even felt some emotion. Many people I work with on this are even led to tears by number 3 because they feel so strongly about their beliefs. Well, your why is about you.
Okay, so that's the part. Let me stop share here. Melissa can take it away to her end.
Oops.
So this,
that one?
yep, that's the perfect one.
Okay.
I gotta wait for my thing to come up again, sorry. But just to kind of go over what he said, if we're down here taking care of our basic needs of life, that would be the shelter, food, and survival needs, that we can't think of any of these other needs that are here. And you can't see my pointer, but I pointed at it, so I'm sure you could see that I did that. I'm like, what? All right.
Down here.
Yeah. We all are different levels. And it's just good to know where you're at. And maybe a lot of us right now are at this physiological level where we're, you know, just thinking about survival, right? So let's go to the next slide.
And I wonder what it means if we're kind of stuck somewhere in the middle. You know, is there any right, but he says there's no right or wrong way to be, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's a right or wrong. It's just you're going to be in that place, and that your why is going to reflect that. And then when you've gotten to the point that that has been, your needs in that area have been met, your why will change and you'll need to redo this process again.
So interesting.
Because if you're at safety, and then when that safety need is met, you'll probably, your why will probably reflect more needs around love and belonging.
Yeah, it's just so fascinating to me.
So
Me too, because I thought your why would kind of stick with you.
Yeah, it changes.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a massive change. I think you're just going to notice a few little tweaks, and then it's going to resonate with you more, like it's going to touch your heart more. And as it touches your heart, it will touch other people's heart more.
Yeah.
It's important to just check in on it every once in a while. I love that he said your why is about you. And if you're not true to your why, you will burn out. You need to put your own mask on first, or he says you'll pass out. But I think most people start with burnout first. Maybe they go to pass out eventually in disease, but I think we start a little bit lower than that, and then it escalates as it's left undone. So let's go to step 10. Your why is shaped by your most influential experiences. It's directly associated with your deepest unmet need. So let's go to the next slide. And this is where we get into the deep part. So now whatever you answered in step 3, we're going to take that answer and you're going to ask yourself, how did you come to know these things? And then the writing prompt is, because I know X. It could also be, because of X happening in my life, I know. And we'll just take a few minutes and write on that part. Lynette, if you're just joining us, the steps are across the bottom. We've done writing prompts on each one of these areas. I don't know if you can see that or not, but we started with the first one. Why are you doing doTERRA? That's the number one question, or as a business. And then the prompt is because I, and then you just start writing there and write whatever comes to your mind. And it's almost better if you write fast than slow, because if you're writing fast, you don't think about what you're writing, you just write.
Darla,
Yes.
sorry. I am on my mobile device and Melissa said she is recording. I'm going to have to go back and look at it. I
Okay.
have in and out service and that's why I couldn't get connected to the call. The
Okay.
link wasn't working, it was broken. So sorry.
That's okay. It's totally fine. I wasn't sure if you could see it well enough to be able to pick up what we were doing.
No, I can't see it all. I actually had to go do an oil delivery that wanted it tonight. So
Okay.
thanks.
But we're recording for sure.
Thank you.
So in that Maslow's hierarchy of needs, do you typically follow it up the pyramid, or it's any one of those at any time?
Can you say that one more time, please?
Yeah, you just kind of cut out, Lorraine.
She was saying when you're going up that hierarchy.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yes. You
Is it in order or it goes all over?
It usually goes in order, but I have found, like, as I've done this several times, that I'm in different places in different areas of my life. So like maybe in my business, I might be on one part of the pyramid, but as I did health, like self-care, I was in a different part and I did my why around that. So that way I was totally in the love and belonging area. But I'm seeing tonight doing this, that I'm more in the safety. Safety is a big one. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Good.
But in the same realm, you're generally working your way up.
Yes.
Like, if you're just considering it your business, if you're at one place, you're working your way up.
Yes.
You're not going to be all over within the same thing.
Probably not.
Lorraine, I wish you could hear yourself. It's great. You sound like a drunk robot. I love your internet.
Okay. Isn't it lovely?
Okay, are we ready to go on to the next slide? I think we are. Let's just go ahead. Okay, so now this is the part where it gets interesting. So now we're going to look over what you wrote in all 3 steps and circle key phrases or words that stand out to you. How's everybody doing? Did you circle your key phrases and words? Still working on it.
I'm good.
Okay. We might be ready to go on, Melissa. Okay. So then when you're done circling those key phrases, then we get to pull them together and create an example. So he used this woman's example in the video, and he talked about her different pieces, that she's a fighter. And So this is her why. When people ask her why she is doing doTERRA as business, she answers, because I'm helping people to never suffer through dark times, and I have tools that can help them. So this is kind of the part where I thought we might need to help each other out just a little bit and crafting our whys. Yeah. So does anybody need any help with theirs?
Who's going first?
Okay, isn't that kind of vague?
Hers is, yeah. But so he basically took those key words, right, Darla? Didn't he?
Yes.
Circled and then used it to insert it to make it a, quote unquote safer answer that she could just give as her elevator pitch, but yet it was more meaningful for her. So when she told people, she said it with conviction and passion, and like they latched onto that.
Yeah, she really felt it when she was sharing that, and that's what we want to feel too. But you're
okay, because
deeper.
Well, certainly people are going to wonder and be curious about what she suffered through.
Yeah.
And what dark times means.
And there'll be just as many people that will just say, wow, she really is passionate about what she's doing, and never ask. But can you feel her heart in that? Like, can you feel a heart in that statement?
Mm-hmm.
In the video, Melissa, maybe you can speak to this, but I kind of thought he skipped over this part a little bit.
Yeah, of how to put it all together. Totally.
Yeah.
This is where I got stuck too. So I did this. I did this once before. Like, it's so funny. I've kind of come up with the same things, the same roots. I wondered if I'd get the same answers. I kind of got there, but in different ways. But mine all come down to time and money. why I do doTERRA as a business.
Interesting. So I'm gonna share, if you don't mind, I'll share mine.
Okay.
So my purpose is to stand in leadership by being my best self, understanding how to have energy, vitality, and mental health. It is imperative to understand how to care for our health using essential oils.
That's awesome. So how did you get to it? How did you get to that?
I just played with it until it sounded good, but I just, like, health was in every single one. Mental health was in someone that stood out. Purpose, I had the words energy and vitality, my best self, leadership. And I see leadership as doing the business and teaching.
That's awesome.
And mine's completely different.
And that's okay.
So I'm different than I would have expected, but I'm not surprised by it at the same time. So the words I circled are experiences twice. Change, better, believe, abundance, happiness, more. So I put it together saying this, and this doesn't feel quite right, but it's the closest thing I can come up with right now is when people ask me why I'm doing doTERRA as a business, I answer because I am helping people to have better experiences. I believe things can always change for the better. We can be happier, have more abundance, and experience a better life.
Stacey, I love that. Like, that's totally cool. And like, because I know like how you've come, right? Like what doTERRA has done.
Yeah. It's not the money for me, and it's not the oils themselves for me. And I've always said that.
Yeah.
But this puts it into words that I've not been able to do before.
And I think it's important to realize this is going to be a living piece. There might be a few tweaks here and there to make it really resonate with you, feel powerful to you, but there's some essence in the words that are there that can kind of get us to that next step.
Yeah.
I think seeing this example is going to help me put mine together better. Because all of mine I felt bitter about, but yet this sort of sounds, I don't want to say bitter, but I guess it's passionate. but it's an experiential thing.
Yeah, like finding your message through your mess type thing.
Yeah.
Well, I got kind of mad, an awakening and a maddening about the healthcare system, and that I didn't want to be at the mercy of the doctor, and I don't want to go to the doctor thinking he's all knowing and he has the only answer. And I just got sick of feeding my kids antibiotics all the time for every little thing, and getting prescriptions for every little thing, and just that whole thing was annoying. And in a way, it is a sort of suffering, you know. I think back to losing babies, and a little progesterone would have done the trick. What's the deal? You know, what I know now makes me more angry at my healthcare experiences. And I don't want to be down on doctors, you know, so I don't want to project that. But it does come from a place that sounds like helping people to never suffer through, you know, kind of thing. And seeing this written out like this, it's like, okay, so
So you don't want people to suffer. You just said it.
Yeah, you don't have to be at the mercy of a prescription, you know, all the time.
There are other ways.
Yeah, taking charge of your own health and your own family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I love how you describe it, because look how fired up you get.
I know. She's got her passion there.
Yeah, but I was afraid I was being a downer Debbie, you know.
No.
Oh, you just don't like doctors, blah, 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 you know.
And who cares? You know what? To attract people, you have to offend people.
Yes.
Who cares?
And people will feel your passion. People will feel that and understand it. And I have heard that so many times. So many people get into doTERRA because of that. They're like, I didn't feel like I had any other way. And I have other ways now.
Yep.
I got into doTERRA because we lived in the Middle East, and the healthcare was horrible, like absolutely horrible and scary. It was safer to stay home and treat yourself with whatever Band-Aids you had than to go to the doctors. And so I'm like, there's got to be another way. There's got to be a way that I can take care of my health without having to resort to those other options. Yes, if I break my leg, yes, I need a doctor. I need a hospital or whatever. But if I haven't broken my leg, I want to have ways to take care of myself and my family.
Well, and I think it empowers us in other ways too, because I think I used to go to the doctor for every little thing. And I was spending so much money and still didn't have answers and was still suffering. And it was like a repeat course every 6 to 8 weeks. And the oils have changed that for me. And my health has improved a ton, you know, and so I rarely need to go to the doctor. But even then, it's like, I almost have to be dying to go. I'm so glad they're there. I'm so glad there's a resource there. Let's use COVID for an example here. You know, I would really have to be in bad shape to go to a doctor. And they're like, it's safe, you can come in, but I'm not risking that with my lungs the way they are. And when I had a sinus infection last month, I knew it was a sinus infection. And I knew what I could do about it. I did call my call-in doctor just to verify that they didn't think it was anything else and get their opinion on anything, but we didn't do anything different than I would normally do. I'm like, I have got these resources that I'm comfortable with, and I'd like to stick with these. And it empowered me because I didn't have to go to a doctor. I had almost everything I needed here. I had to get one prescription, and that was it. And the rest of it I could handle on my own. And it was so nice because I was so nervous about having to go to a doctor or even go to a pharmacy to fill my prescription, or, you know, things like that. I'm so grateful for the oils because they have taught me to trust my instincts and myself.
Yeah, definitely.
And I want to suggest something too. So like if you're teaching classes or getting ready to share a sample with someone or anything that feels hard, read your why first. read your why, get your power behind you, and feel that empowerment of what it has given to you before you do that hard thing, and see what feels possible after you do that. And literally, like when you're done writing this, read it out loud, read it with power, read it with conviction. And if it's like, yes, this is it, then you know you've got what's right for you. And if you read it and you're like, maybe not, then maybe it's like, oh, maybe it needs a few little tweaks or whatever. So let's go ahead, unless somebody else wants to share, let's go to the next slide. And here's the challenge he issues. So if you're just doing the part-time, the challenge is to complete your why and then share it with your mentor. And if you're doing this as a business and you're really going for it, complete the finding your why and share it with your mentor, and then help one of your leaders complete the exercise and discuss the results. So that's your challenge. And that's all I have to share.
Thank you so much, Darla.
Welcome.
This has been awesome. So eye-opening. And I've done a ton of Where's Your Why activities, but this one was really good.
It was amazing. All right, I'm going to stop the recording real quick.